This is the Selectmen's meeting for March 25th, 2010. First order of business, salute to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
All in favor? Approval of the minutes of last meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting as written.
Second.
All in favor? Signing of the warrants. Who's going to go under? One. That one is complete. Under old business, cable committee report. Do we have one?
No.
Nothing to report. We are very close on getting the meetings to be online. So I was just viewing a preliminary one tonight. It looks great. Where we have on the Acton main website, we have all of the minutes. They're going to be connected to the minutes as you go, and you'll be able to click on and actually watch the meeting on your on the internet, right on your computer. So it's just another way to get the information out to everybody. So it's close to being finalized. It'll be let everybody know when that's ready.
And I'd like to thank Teddo and Scott and Karl for the amount of work that they've done with this. It's been a little bit confusing dealing with MetroCast with the changes and stuff, and it's been quite a process. So as you see on that video, at least the voices now matching the movement of the mouse and stuff like that. So
it's a lot more complicated than people think.
Oh,
to
goodness.
Air these on there.
Oh, goodness. A lot of work.
Okay, under new business, we have donations you're going to speak about.
I do. A couple of things have come up. One is the gym being opened, and we have the fees coming in for the use of the gym. And in order for those fees to stay together and to be expended, I thought it would be useful if we were to set up a budget line, or just basically an accounting line with the treasurer, so that those fees go into that line. By Article 14 in the town warrant last year, the selectmen have the authority to expend monies that come in as local grants, donations, or fees. So the gym use fees are fees, and they're coming into the town, and so this board has the authority to expend those fees. So if we were to set up an accounting line for those fees to go under, instead of having them simply going to the general fund, then we would make sure that the money that was being spent on the gym, because the idea is to get it to be self-supporting, that eventually we would have that line set up, and we'd make sure that the money that was being spent was coming out of that line, and it would give us a chance to really keep track of what was, was it able to be self-supporting, were we having enough money come in. We would also make sure that the money that came in for the fees didn't get expended elsewhere, and that it would be available to be used on the gym, since that was what it was given for. The second thing that's come up, the same exact thing, is the senior luncheons that we've started holding. They have been receiving some donations, and so that donation money needs to be dealt with. It can't simply sit in a shoebox in the safe or in my pocket, certainly, so it needs to be accounted for and needs to be making sure that it gets spent where it was donated to. And we can deal with the same, because the board has the authority to spend donations, if we were to do the same thing and set up an accounting line in the budget, this is what the treasurer recommended when I spoke to her. All of those donations can be given to the treasurer. She can deposit them into the bank and put them underneath that line. And then when we have things like a spaghetti supper that we're hoping to have to raise money for that group, then that money can go into that line as well, and it can be used by that group to pay for future events. So
I don't agree with your explanation. I agree with accepting the donations, but we cannot expend money, create accounts arbitrarily, so that we can spend money that we bring in. For example, with the gym, I agree that there's nothing wrong with taking in the money and you put it in your undesignated fund balance and keeping track of that amount of money, and then at town meeting, you take that warrant, make a warrant article to start an account for that, and you take the money that has been raised out of the undesignated fund balance to put in there, and then the selectmen would have the authority to spend it. Article 14 really just gives us the authority to accept the donations to be put into the accounts that the town has already created, not to start new accounts. Perfect example would be the one we're voting on April 6th, starting the revenue account for the fire station over here, the $911. I mean, that account has to be set up through the town meeting, and these accounts will be the same thing.
Do you think that I think we're dealing with two different things, though. The senior citizen is really not something of the town.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like a private entity. It's not really a town account. I don't think, you know.
I think
it's
the
like
idea is
there's
that it would like to be, if that.
What would you put it, you know what I mean? What would you put it under? Like, if there was we don't take donations for a food bank or something like that and put it in the town money. I don't know, I think that should be a separate entity, like a non-profit or something like that. The other thing is gray. The gym is a gray area, but still it's in our town building. You know, and I think it almost comes to the same type of thing as the library in a way, where the library funds go through us, right?
No.
Oh, okay, see, they don't even do that.
No.
So maybe the gym also should be like the library. You see, because it's really not, we should keep very close eye on how much money it is, but it's a gray area. I think the senior citizens thing definitely is not a town function. You know what I mean? It's something that whoever's doing it, if out of the goodness of their heart, we allow them to use the town hall, but it's not really a town anything, department. The gym is a...
Put in the shoebox.
Maybe I have to put it in the shoebox. But the other thing, the gym, because this is good that we're talking about this, the gym is kind of in the middle here. It's kind of a gray, you know, area. Almost, is that a separate entity? Like I don't know.
I don't think it is, because it has been set up under the town. The town has said that it's going to be funding it for the next year to see, you know, to get it up and running. I think that gym is absolutely a town project. I don't think that it's ever been proposed as anything other than a town project.
Okay.
And I think that for just accountability purposes, to have the town have the money coming into the town and having it in an accounting line is appropriate. And if we want to wait to do that till town meeting, that's fine.
Yeah,
but we need to start talking about that so that we can write the article to have that happen in June.
I think every penny of that money should go back into the gym
Yes.
expenses, and I do think we have to do it at town meeting.
That's fine, but that's
But
why I wanted to start talking about
I
it so
agree
that
with
we could make sure that that happens for June then.
Just until that date, it has to go in the undesignated fund balance.
And they'll keep a record of it so they know how much
And we
it is.
can't spend it.
No.
Until after
Right,
July 1st.
I agree.
Yeah, I'd like to speak about all donations that has anything to do with town entities should come through the town, including the fire department. All right? The fire department is an entity of this town. And the fire department receives donations. Now, in the 15 years that I've been around here, I haven't seen one of them donations come through the town. If they get a check, it's a private check to the fire department, and it's cashed. And that's wrong. It should come through the town. It should go through the budget process. We should know, as a warrant finance committee, should know how much money is coming in from donations. All right? And it's the same thing with the gym. The gym now is going to be an entity of the town. All right? The money that comes in there, the town should have a record of it as donations, and then in the future, if you know, you're going to present money to the gym, that should be taken into consideration. All right, the Acton Ambulance Association, that was totally private, just like your senior lunches. Totally private, so that would be a separate entity. You have no control over that. But I'm a firm believer that all donations should be coming through the town.
You're 100% right, Roger. When I went down to the school, we had the same issue. People quite often would donate money to the library, for example. Some years it'd be a couple $1,000s between the different people. There used to be donations given to the art department. And there used to be donations given to the sports program. And these different departments within the school department had their own checking accounts. Wow. And it was like that for many years. And then in 1996, I believe it was, with the superintendent that there was at the time and the auditor, all that was removed, including the checkbook that was in the kitchen, because they used to have their own checkbook. And all that was removed and put in, and it all went through. It still ended up in the same place, but it all had to go through the treasurer. And I believe you're 100% right on that. And I'll speak to Mr. Waltz and see if we can get moving on that part.
I think the other option, of course, is with the school, with the PTG having been established, that many people now, instead of donating directly to the school, they donate it to the PTG. And the fire department can certainly, there could be the Firemen's Auxiliary or something along those lines that, as a private group, is accepting donations in the name of the fire department. And at that point, the town would not have authority to ask for what those donations were.
Okay, so
Anything that's donated to a town department is the town's responsibility to know what it is and where it's going, if it's a town department. And people have always donated to these different places at the school, like I said. The PTG has always donated stuff to help out the school. Nothing's really changed that much, other than the fact that everything has to go through the treasurer's office. And the fire department the same way.
So we're in agreement that the senior luncheon wouldn't apply.
Sure, that
Okay.
can be a completely
Yeah, I
separate, not town organization, that's fine.
Okay. And the others, we'll go through get on the warrant so it can be
Yeah,
properly done. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Do we want and I hadn't thought of this, do we want the people that's in charge of the gym to present us with a budget?
Eventually they should, once they realize what it should, once they see the operation, they should, they're gonna have to, absolutely.
So that's something we need to look at for this year, coming year.
I'm not sure if they can actually do it, because they don't have enough information to do it right now. Possibly, you know what I mean, to come up with figures, they'd be pulling figures out of the air.
So what we'd be looking at this year is status quo. This next year, we'll still heat the building, we'll still light the building, and do any repairs, whatever need to be done, and so they can establish to see basically what they're going to have for money to operate, which will probably take a year anyway. I'm fine with it, Tony. I just want to make sure that everybody understands.
I guess that's what we have to do, because we don't know how much
Right.
it's gonna be at all, and,
I mean, we're not going to be buying their trash bags or their cleaning stuff or stuff like that, but as far as the maintenance of the building, we'd do it just like we do with the library for the first year anyway.
yeah, because it is our building.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name's Jim Crowley, resident here in Acton. I have two questions. Question number one is, I notice on these applications you have to be a municipal employee to be part of this town gym, which is all right, but if it's expending town monies, why isn't this opened up to the town? If you're paying dues to join a group that the whole town should benefit from spending town monies to put this on. And number two is, main concern that I have is, if somebody gets hurt, falls off a machine, serious injury, who's responsible? Do we have to pay insurances as the town to take care of any injuries, or who's responsible for injuries? The gyms are known for having some serious accidents, and if somebody has a serious accident, if town-sponsored, does it come back onto the town? That's something I think is the most serious thing you have to look at, is what happens if somebody gets injured.
We did look at that, right? It is a town building, so it has the normal policy that the town has for the building and for the liability. And we looked into
They
that
say they
extra.
will also be signing a liability waiver upon signing up for the gym, and I believe that our insurance carrier was fairly clear that it is almost impossible to sue a town for personal injury, and that we should not be concerned about that. The liability waiver that they will sign upon signing up with the gym is a further insurance against that, but I think certainly the gym committee could answer those questions for you better.
And as far as the other one you're asking about, when this was originally put together, it started with the fire department, of course, through a grant, and then it got expanded to municipal employees. It's a benefit for the people that are the fire department, ambulance, and municipal employees. It's a benefit.
And any volunteer on any board.
And volunteers on any boards and so
But
forth.
we're still putting in monies from the town, from the taxpayers of this town,
Right.
to support a gym. And if we're gonna have a $100,000 worth of equipment gym out there, and you're accepting applications and payments, it should be opened up to the town, because it is the town's monies that is putting this gym together and running it.
The town's money should only be paying for heat and electricity at this point. All of the equipment was purchased through grant monies through the fire department. They were not purchased with town funds. I think that the idea is that the dues that people pay to use the gym will cover the running and the operating costs of that gym, so that it will not be a tax burden on the people. That is the idea.
I believe...
Excuse me,
if I
Kyle
re-
Hodgdon, would you just please state your
Carl
name?
Hodgdon, I'm sorry. I do believe that when this was originally discussed, that people indicated that if it was going to be opened up to the community as a whole, there would have to be a qualified individual present at all the time that the place was opened, a qualified trainer, if you will. And at this point in time, they didn't feel that they were going to have participation enough to be able to support that. And I think that's why it wasn't opened up to the whole town at this point in time, Jim.
It also is not quite large enough. There's 2 treadmills, 2 elliptical machines, and 2 bicycles, so there's only 6 pieces of cardiovascular equipment in the building. To open it up to the town of Acton there are too many people in the town of Acton for this one building to support. If the town of Acton wishes to have a town of Acton gym, citizens could certainly circulate a petition to put it on a warrant article, but it would be a very expensive proposition.
Roger Roy again. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that grant, I believe, was a matching grant. Therefore, the town did put money into it.
No, it was not a matching grant.
We put money into it besides that grant, though.
The grant did not pay for everything.
Did not pay for everything, no.
I believe it was either 75, 25 or something like
Yeah,
that. But
we had to put money
it
up.
wasn't 100% grant.
We had to put money up.
I don't actually remember, but
I don't remember that we put any money into it. I think
I don't remember we...
from the grant.
Yeah,
It was
I
a
don't remember either.
$65,000 grant. I don't know what that covered. You could certainly ask the gym committee, but I believe that the original grant was for $65,000.
Well,
The article will be in the town report anyway, another town report.
the bottom line is, any grant or any gift that you get from anybody costs you an awful lot of money in the end.
Okay. Let's go on to number 2, which is a waiver of fee. We have a building permit application for the house that had totally burnt to the ground on Man Road, and I'll entertain a motion to waive this permit fee.
I make the motion to waive the permit fee.
Second.
All in favor? permit fee is waived.
Kenny can,
Okay. Anything else before we go to announcements? Anybody have anything? We have a public hearing for a liquor license, which is going to be April 15th during this meeting at 7 o'clock. This is a liquor license for a new person that's going to be taking over Big Daddy's Barbecue. So hearing will be on April 15th for that,
here at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Could you expand on that?
It is going, there is two individuals, husband and wife from Alfred, that are planning to lease this business, the restaurant and everything from Mr. Hannon. He still owns the building, and under the law, since they're new owners of the business or leasing a brand, it's going to be still the same name, but it's changed into like a certain type of corporation. It's an LLC. So it's a new name technically, but still going to be called Big Daddy's, but it's a new corporation. And when a new entity of this nature comes into play, he has nothing to do with it anymore. It's a new liquor license. And goes through the same process. If there is, it has nothing to do, it would have nothing to do with Mr. Hannon anymore.
How do you know that?
That's what's being presented. And unless we find one of the laws is broken, that applies to liquor license laws, like, you know, we went through the last time, they get it. Unless there's a reason we find. I certainly would entertain all of the public to come and give their opinion on it. But the way it is right now being presented, it's a husband and wife from Alfred that's coming in, leasing the premises. They are running the entire thing. Brand new, no, they're getting rid of everybody and hiring all new employees, and they're starting pretty much over. All he's doing is getting the rent every month and so forth, and we'll take it from there.
I have an announcement from Jen. Our deputy town clerk position has been filled. Applicants that applied will receive thank you for your time letters sometime in the next few days. So look for a new face starting her training next week, I believe.
All right.
And then also just the seniors group aforementioned, they're going to be referring to themselves as the Acton Owls, the Older and Wiser League. So in the future, when you hear me announce the Acton Owls are meeting, you'll know who that is. And they are meeting next on April 14th at 1 p.m. for donuts, cards, coffee, and conversation. So anyone that wishes to join will be here at the Town Hall, 1 o'clock on April 14th.
I have a couple of things, Tony. First off, Lorraine, I would like for you to ask, I've had quite a few, I've had some complaints from people that have been in the last few days into this town hall. When people want to use the town hall for whatever reason, when they contact you, would you kindly remind them that it is their responsibility to clean up after themselves? I've had a couple speak to me, a couple people speak to me, for example, in the kitchen. It looks like the sink hasn't been cleaned out for a month. There's food in it. It's pretty gross. And I don't think that the Lions Club, when they come in to do their breakfast, really wants to start out by cleaning up, stuff like that.
If you let me know who doesn't clean up after themselves, I'll see
Yeah.
that they don't.
I don't know
have it
who,
again.
I don't know who did it, but this started, the complaint started Wednesday afternoon. The other thing is, on a more important note, as you know, we've been working through the budget process, and a lot of people have been talking about how it's going to affect the taxes this coming year. Our municipal warrant finance meeting start Monday night, and I welcome everybody to come and attend these. They're at 6 o'clock normally, and but I've done some with the treasurer. I've sat down and run some numbers with the municipal budget and the school, the state cuts, the fines and penalties imposed on us at the school level. And it looks right now, if everything goes through as presented, as it should, probably will be presented to the people, the average home in this town, the tax is going to go up about $400. It's going to go up about approximately $2 a thousand. And the average home in this town is around $200,000. So please keep informed as we go through the process, and tell your friends and neighbors to make a decision, whatever they want to do in April and May and June, and so that they're not surprised with anything. That's a pretty good increase if everything goes through.
Is that representing a $600,000 increase in monies to be raised?
Yes.
Well, I'm curious. I will sit down with Sherry, because when I ran the numbers through our tax commitment program, that was what the idea that came out at, with the current level of value of our town, that for every $100,000 an increase of monies to be raised would be 18 cents per thousand on the tax rate, which I said very clearly, I thought at that meeting, that doesn't mean 18 cents increase in your taxes. It means 18 cents per thousand, which would be $18 per $100,000 of value on your home.
So for 36.
For 100, hold on. No, that's only for $100,000 of increase. For a $500,000 increase, which is what the school budget was looking at, $500,000 to $600,000, you would have to multiply that by that 18. So for a $100,000 house, I had figured with the 18 cents per thousand increase that you were actually looking at $108 increase for a $100,000 house for a $500,000 increase in monies to be raised.
That's what I said.
I understand, but
So that's $200.
$108 on so it's $200 for the full figure though, not for only the 100. If you have a $200,000 house, the figure I had come up with, your property taxes would be going up about $200. Okay. So the $400 increase would be for a $400,000 house. So I would be interested to see what Sherry's numbers are and find out.
I have Sherry's numbers, Larissa. That's where I got them from.
I understand that, Dennis, but
So you checking isn't going to change the numbers.
No, but it will help
I'm
me to
telling the truth.
understand better. I didn't say you weren't, Dennis.
Well,
I
you're
said I wish
implying
to
that I'm not.
understand.
Excuse me, Karl Hodgdon again. And let's not forget that state subsidies are going to be cut more next year, and we'll still have the lack of receiving the subsidies because the school hasn't consolidated. So you're conceivably looking at $200,000 to $300,000 more next year right on top of it.
Okay, why don't you recheck your figures again? We have your figures, and then we'll report again next week.
Yep.
How's that? And that includes, what you're talking about includes all the special projects?
Yeah.
And all the
Includes
possible...
everything.
Oh, everything, okay. All right, anything else? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?